If you are an artist and your biggest question right now is how do I make art prints out of my art, then this video is for you. I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know. Hey, I'm Annie. If you're new here, I am a professional artist. I've been growing and running my small business from my home alongside motherhood for the last 10 years. And 5 years ago, I started selling art prints. And 3 years ago, I started printing my own art prints with this printer. And it was the best investment I ever made in my business. And I'm going to share everything that you need to know to start doing the same so that you can print your own art prints from home, because adding this stream of revenue in my business has been such an incredible thing. And I just want to share everything that I've learned so that I can make it easy for you. I know it can be really daunting, so I'll break it all down. It's not as complicated as you might think, because I'm not a techie girl either. I'll break it all down for you today so you can see maybe this is something that you want to do and you're like, wow, that was so much easier than I thought it was gonna be. Or you're like, now's not the time. That's today's video, and I'm just going to give you the rundown on how I make art prints from my home studio. So if that's something that you're into and wanting to learn more about, let's get into the video. First things first, I use the Epson Shore Color P900. It runs for about $1,200 for this 17-inch, and that's this printer here. And then I think there's a smaller option as well. And that one maybe $900 or $1,000. I think it is so worth it to spend that little bit of extra for being able to print up to 16 by 20 art prints. One of the really cool things about this printer is it is so compact. I have a really small studio space. It's like a 10 by 10 square. So I have to be really smart about how I configure the setup in here so that it doesn't disrupt like the workflow, if that makes sense. It fits right on this little flat file storage. Takes up hardly no room at all, which is so nice and so important when you're working in small spaces. This printer can print up to 16 by 20, and that's this size here. Anything larger than that, I do still have to outsource onto an online print shop, but these are the most common sizes on my website, and they're pretty big. That's the printer. That's what we're talking about today. Next, I will give you a rundown on the papers that I use. Through so much trial and error, I have landed on Breathing Color canvas paper, which is this paper here. It comes in 17 by 22. And 13 by 19, and those are the two sizes that I keep on hand. Breathing Color also offers 8.5 by 11 sizes as well, but you get more for your money when you buy these larger sizes. Another thing is the Epson also comes with an attachment where you can attach rolled paper, but I don't have a ton of space for that, so that's why I don't have the attachment for the rolls of canvas paper. But if you do have the space, then I 100% recommend, because that is so cost effective to be able to have that. I think the attachment might be $300, I'm not sure. But if you do get the attachment and you get the rolled paper for your art prints, that is the best way to go. But I don't use the rolled paper. I do use the sheets because that is all I have the space for. So they just come in like little sheets, like regular, sheeted paper. But the paper that I use is Breathing Color for all of my like floral acrylic paintings that I turn into art prints. I also have a few watercolor landscapes on my website, and I actually don't print those on my canvas paper. I print those on this other paper that I'll show you here. So the reason for that is, the really cool thing about the canvas paper is that when your original painting is on canvas and then you print it, make your reproduction art prints on canvas paper, it really holds the integrity of the original painting, and it makes the art print look so elevated and elegant, and it's so beautiful. So that's why I use the canvas paper. There's so many options for papers that you can use, and Breathing Color also has so many options for paper, but this is what I thought worked the best with this printer and all that. For my watercolor art prints, I use the Epson, and I love this. I love it so much. This is the Velvet Fine Art paper. little pricey, but it's so worth it. It prints so beautifully. It prints exactly what you see in your computer. Basically, like, you don't have to do any edits. So easy. Like, test prints are like a breeze. They go so fast because what you see on your computer screen is what's gonna be coming out of the printer, which is incredible. It's the best. It comes in different sizes as well. This is the 17 by 22 because when I do print it, I just do 4 8 by 10s on one sheet. I also forgot to add, the way I landed on this paper is I bought the sample pack from Breathing Color, and it gave you like 10 different options that you could print on to kind of play around with. So this was what I landed on, and this is what printed the best. This paper prints exactly what you see on your computer as well. So everything you see on your computer will show up exactly as it's supposed to on this paper, which I love. So that's the paper that I use. Let me think if there's anything else. I think that's all the info on the paper. I'll leave all this information in the description below and give you links so that you'll be able to check them out for yourself, but that's my rundown on paper that I use. In my paper recommendations, these are the papers that I love. They are really good quality. They are tried and true. They are tested. You do not have to use that high of quality papers. There are lower cost options, especially if you're just starting out. I used lower cost options 10 years ago when I was first starting, but there reached a point in my brand where I wanted to elevate my brand, and I chose to do that through the papers that I use. Just wanted to throw that disclaimer out there. The Epson Velvet Fine Art paper is more pricey, so you do not have to start off with that expensive of a paper. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. I'll open this up here so that you can see the inside of the printer here. So you can see the inks. It uses 10 different colored inks, and the full set runs for about $350. I'll talk more about that in a minute because I know you're probably like, that's so much. It is expensive ink, but it's worth it. This is the paper tray. We have a front loader. This is where you load the paper if you're wanting to do a front loading situation. And then this here is the top loader. Both can print up to 17 by 22 inch papers, which is super cool. I'll leave this open because we are going to print an art print. Let's talk inks, because this was one of the things that I researched heavily before buying this printer. There are 10 colors in the set. The full set is about $350, give or take. Just to buy one ink at a time is they range from 50 to 60, I think, per cartridge. Not cheap, but it's so worth it. The reason why I held off for so long with purchasing my own printer was like, oh, it's not gonna be worth it. The inks are so expensive. Like, what if it's a huge mistake, blah, blah, blah. It's so worth it. I actually, when I first bought the printer 3 years ago, I was very meticulously tracking what I was printing and keeping track, like, okay, this ink set printed this many papers on these sizes, and these are the prints, and these are the colors, blah, blah, blah. These are the inks I was replacing, and I kept track, like, really meticulously for a good while. I can confidently say that it is so cost effective. I do have numbers on online print shops, and one 8 by 10, so like this in an online print shop would be about $7. That's for the print shop I was using on the paper that I was purchasing. And then when I print it from home, it is about $1. So in 2021, I had a print collection that really took off. That whole year, while that print collection was going, I was still using the online print shop. I did about $20,000, and a little over $10,000 of that went to the print shop. So that's what I mean when I say it is so much more cost effective to do it from home. That would have been a fraction of the price had I been printing in-house. I know the technology side can be confusing, but when you have the right tools and resources, it's so simple. There's gonna be days when technology is finicky. I've had this printer for two 2-3 years, I don't know. If this died today, I would buy another one in a heartbeat. It's so good. So anyway, let's talk about the features. If you want to get into the nitty-gritty of the features of the printer and why it is so wonderful, I have notes here, so I can't remember all this off the top of my head. Some of the features are, obviously, it's very compact. I know a lot of artists do work in smaller spaces. Most of us don't have the luxury of having these beautiful, humongous, grand studios. If you do, that's super cool, and you can invest in a larger printer. But if you are working in a smaller space, this is a really great tool to have because it's so compact and works great for small spaces. It's also really versatile in the papers that you can use. So you can use thicker fine art paper. It prints beautifully because it has that front loader and top loader. So you can use that front loader for thicker surfaces that you're printing on. Also, it has advanced micro piezo AMC printhead technology. If you had to put it in like simple terms, it's just prints really beautiful art prints. It's like if you had a pencil and you could like draw dots exactly where you wanted to draw the dots. The printer does that, but like with ink. So it's just really precise. It's a fancy printing head. That's why you're able to get such beautiful and clear, colorful, vibrant, beautiful art prints. Another feature is the Ultrachrome Pro 10 ink system. And basically it just has 10 different ink cartridges to get really vibrant colors. So that's how you get such a wide spectrum of color for your art prints. It's so beautiful. It also gets super dark blacks and really beautiful black and whites as well. It does large format printing and super clear high resolution printing. So it has so many really awesome features for artists who are wanting to print their fine art prints from home. So anyway, that's a review. That's a rundown of the printer. Give you the papers that I use. Now I'll show you how to actually print the print and how simple it is. It's so fun. This is the Epson print layout, basically the software where you upload your art prints and then it will send it directly to the printer. The side here is pretty straightforward. You're choosing the type of paper that we're using. We have paper size, paper source, so whether you're using the bottom or the top feeder. So I'm using the front loader. And we're choosing standard quality. And then we have layout settings. You can do a template. This is a template that I use a lot. This is two 8x10s on a 13x19 paper. This is where it stores all of your previously saved templates. So if you want to do 5x7s or any of that, so you can always refer back to templates that you've created in the past. So ICC profile is for color management. Put a pin in that, that's ICC profile. I'll explain that in a sec. So now I am actually gonna print, I just printed these the other day, so I'm gonna print some other ones. I think I'm gonna try and print some prints that I have not printed in a minute. So basically, drag and drop, it is that simple. They're ready to go, ready to print. And then I'm printing two 8x10s on 13x19 paper in the front loader, standard quality, using the template that I made. And this ICC profile is Epson SureColor P900 Canvas Matte, and that profile is what I've always kept it on for this canvas paper that I use, but again, we'll go into more ICC profile in a sec. I'm gonna hit print. Now I'm gonna go over to my printer and load the paper. Take a minute and show you the loading of the paper process, but I will say the one thing that is super finicky, that is not something that I love about this printer, but honestly is not make or break for me. The top loader does not work great. It does, however, work well for the Epson velvet fine art paper that I use. So with any piece of technology, nothing's gonna be perfect. This printer has served me well, and it still is. There's arrows here where you line up the arrows until you hear that click. Hold it down, click, and then let it go, and that holds the paper in place so it doesn't get like misaligned. And now it's gonna load. And then we're good to go, and now it's gonna print. It was that easy. It's so cool. Okay, now that's printing, let's talk ICC profile. I always forget what ICC stands for. Okay, the International Color Consortium is what it stands for. ICC profile basically in simple terms, because I know that type of stuff makes no sense to me at all whatsoever, so I'll explain it for you. An ICC profile is going to tell your printer to make sure your art print matches what you see on the screen. So an ICC profile is going to be a guide to tell your printer this is how you're gonna print for the paper that you're using. So if I'm printing on canvas matte paper, the ICC profile is gonna be different than if I was printing on a watercolor Epson fine art paper. So hopefully that makes sense. The Epson printer, it prints almost like exactly what is shown on my screen. The color management is so good. It's so good. Basically, whatever paper you're using, you should be able to find the ICC profiles of that paper on the website of the manufacturer. So hopefully that helps explain that. Basically, it's just color management and making sure that you are telling your printer the correct way to print for the paper that you're using. So that is how you get really beautiful art prints. So in the time that it took to talk about ICC profiles, our prints are done. But I'd say 2 8x10s took about 5 minutes, so not bad at all. And here's what we got. It's so fun. I love these prints. I think they're really pretty. So I'm gonna trim them down and then we'll be all done. So I'll be honest, I do trim my prints directly on my table. I hate that I'm like exposing myself in this way, but this table is so beat and so worn. From the moment I put it together, I put the screws in wrong, so there's huge holes in it. I'm not overly attached to this table, so if you are overly attached to your table, do not trim your prints the way that I am trimming them. Definitely get yourself a cutting board mat thing. Do not do it the way that I'm doing it. Okay, just had to add that. But to trim my prints down, I just use this little cutter. You can get them at like Michael's or Hobby Lobby or any place like that. It cuts really long. So it cuts, I can do like 17 by 22 inch papers. So I can trim down 16 by 20 prints with this. I very much need to invest in a proper paper cutter. It's on my list. I do have one in my Amazon cart right now, and I can link that. I haven't used it, so be warned, but when I do buy a paper cutter, I know which one I'm gonna get, and it's like $200, but I know it's gonna be worth it because this is ridiculous, like the fact that I do this. It works, so all done. See, it's super easy. That is how I print my art prints from my house and sell them. It's so fun. So to wrap up this video today, I hope that was really informative. That was a quick rundown on my printing process. My goal in showing you that today is to give you an honest review of my printer. So it's not perfect, just pretty darn close. I love that printer. I would recommend it to anyone and everyone. If you're an artist and you're looking to make art prints out of your work, I would 1000% recommend it till I'm blue in the face. I really hope that makes the process of making art prints feel a little less daunting for you, because when I had a print collection that finally took off and became a very lucrative stream of income for me, it was such a blessing for my family. And if I can help anyone do the same thing and make the process a little less scary, I just think that's so cool. That's today's video on how to print art prints from home. And so I'm talking too much. So I hope that video is really helpful for you today. I really do. If you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment below and I'll do my very best to answer them. Yeah. I'll see you soon. Bye.